Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to make a really delicious, simple spring risotto. I love this recipe. It is something that I make often because I change the vegetables according to what's in season. When it is garden season, it changes according to what's in the garden. Today we're going to use some simple spring seasonal favorites. We're doing asparagus, zucchini, and we're doing fresh peas and some spinach. I love the combination. It's super delicious, it's got lots of good stuff, and it's just beautifully flavored. If you are in an Italian, Mediterranean, whatever household, and you plan on serving, say, a roast for Easter, or if you're like us, we always do like a pasta course, then we do the meat course, and typically the pasta course doesn't have any meat in it if we're going to be doing a meat course. Does that make sense? This risotto would be a great course to go along with it. It's just absolutely divine. Perfect for all of your vegetarian friends. If you have people over that are vegetarian, when I tell you that this recipe is just show-stopping and delicious, but also extremely simple, there is one tiny thing about risotto that perhaps isn't so friendly, and that is that you have to really make it last minute. Risotto is not the kind of thing you can make ahead of time and let it sit, because it changes the texture completely. It will go from beautifully creamy and delicious to hard as a rock. Can't really do much with it. Really sticky, not risotto. Still good, but not risotto. Okay, my eyes are already burning. These shallots that I've been getting lately are so strong. Okay, I'm chopping up some shallots. I had 4 small shallots here. You could do a half of an onion. You could do a leek. You could do a bunch of scallions. By all means, just keep this very easy. You know, if you had some artichokes, you could add artichokes to this. Make sure that the artichokes are cooked, unless they are the baby artichokes, which you trim and clean before chopping up the core. Really, broccolini, whatever your heart desires. That is very strong. I have some chicken stock back there at a simmer. Really important. Okay, in here, you want to do this. You always want to make risotto in a shallow pan like this, because that's how you get the best texture. So you need some olive oil and a tiny bit of butter. And then you're going to add your shallots right in as we go ahead and chop up some garlic. Get that right in. My eyes are like on fire. Once your shallots begin to soften and become translucent, go ahead and add your garlic. Add that right in. Let it cook for like a minute. You just want to cook out that raw garlic flavor. Another thing about risotto that you really should pay attention to if you're going to be serving this to a crowd, I think risotto is the kind of thing that's best 8 and under. The bigger the amount, the bigger your pot. And I don't mean in depth, I mean like in width, because you want to be able to cook it properly. Because if you were to cook risotto in, say, a stock pot or soup pot, you're not going to get the same consistency. You're not going to get that same velvety, gorgeous texture. It's going to be unevenly cooked, which is why it's so fantastic and it's so versatile and it's easy and not expensive to make, but it is a little finicky. It just needs a little TLC compared to other things, but always worth it. I mean, when it comes to risotto, we can do risotto primavera, which is like something like this, seafood risotto, sausage and broccoli rabe, a little taleggio in there, a pumpkin risotto, you name it, you can do it, but it just needs a little TLC. That is looking perfect. Let's talk rice for a second. Risotto does require arborio rice, also known as risotto rice. It's a short grain rice. It's what makes your final dish so rich and creamy. I know we love rinsing rice. It's fluffy, it's wonderful. Not in this case. We don't want a fluffy risotto. We want a very rich and creamy risotto. Therefore, you keep it all in there. Keep that starch in there. No rinsing off. Important that you let it toast up with that olive oil and those shallots. Get them toasty and delicious for about a minute. That is looking fantastic. Now we're going to introduce our first liquid, which is some white wine. You can leave it out if you want to. You see how those juices are a golden color? That's lifting any of those bits from the shallots. Okay, here's the thing about risotto, okay? Risotto is like me. okay? It's delicious. We love it. We want more of it. It's fantastic. It's Italian. However, she is very high maintenance. She requires attention. She demands attention. So you don't want to add all your liquid at once because you're not going to end up with risotto. You'll just end up with cooked rice, which fine, but not what we're looking for. You don't start introducing a new ladleful of rice until a new ladleful of liquid until the rice has absorbed the previous one. So let's look in here. You see how the rice has now absorbed and cooked out that wine? See? When you pull it back, you should have no liquid running towards the center, okay? That's how you know you are ready for your next ladle of flavor. I have chicken stock here. Veggie stock is fantastic. You're gonna cook this on medium-low heat until the rice absorbs now this ladleful of liquid. And every time the rice absorbs that liquid, and again, you don't have liquid running towards the center when you separate the rice, that's when you introduce another ladleful. You're gonna do this for a good 22 minutes. I know, but I'm telling you, aren't I worth it? She's worth it too. You just need to pay attention. You can, have a FaceTime call right here. Just don't go anywhere. Keep doing that. In the meantime, while that's happening, I'm gonna take a zucchini and I am going to dice it because I wanna get all of my veggies ready to saute to add towards the end, because I don't like to add my veggies in the very beginning because I want to keep them green and crisp and colorful and absolutely delicious. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dice up a zucchini. I'm gonna trim some asparagus. I'm gonna cut the asparagus like that. Not too small, not too big, something like that. And my peas are fresh peas because they are in season for such a short time. I tend to buy some and then I will buy extra bags and freeze them so we can have in-season peas anytime we want. I'll have that. Baby spinach is already cleaned. I'm just gonna bring it all over here, and once everything is chopped up, we can get that cooking and ready for the rice when the rice is ready for the veg. Rice is coming along nicely. I'm adding my zucchini and my asparagus to a skillet with some olive oil. Let those -2 pieces saute until they develop a little color, but really you're just looking for them to cook down slightly but remain tender crisp. Rice is looking fantastic. I've tasted it for seasoning. I added a pinch of salt. It's looking good. Doesn't need an extra ladle of stock quite yet, but when it's there, I will show you. I've got my peas. I have my chopped up baby spinach. I went ahead and gave this just a fine chop. And once the zucchini are ready, we meld everything together. I'm also gonna grab some fresh mint because I love to finish this with a little fresh mint, a little lemon zest, lots of parm, and it is a spring delight. Rice is just about ready. Veggies are ready. I'm gonna go ahead and add my peas because these are raw, right? So they're not frozen peas, they're not blanched or anything, so they do need a few minutes in some liquid just to cook out that raw bite. But look how beautiful and green and gorgeous they are. I've already mentioned that I seasoned this with some salt. I'm not adding any pepper. I'm gonna add in our veg. So fantastic. You're just gonna have to believe me and trust me when I tell you. You could do the vegetables on the top if you wanted to, but this is perfect. It's gonna take about 3 more minutes before that rice is perfectly cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and add another ladleful of stock, just like that. And then here comes the magical part, okay? And if you watch my other risotto videos, this will make sense to you, okay? A little bit of stock, okay? A couple dabs of butter. You want about 2 tablespoons. I just cut them into thin little slivers, okay? Adesso parmigiano, parmigiano reggiano. Turn this off. Parmigiano reggiano. Okay, turn it off. Put the lid on. Don't touch this. Let it sit for about 5 minutes and you will have the most perfect risotto con una onda, which means with a wave, okay? Then we will stir in the spinach We will chop up some, I want to keep saying parsley, some mint to add in, which is totally optional. I know not a lot of people are big fans of mint. I happen to love it. Grate a little lemon zest, and it is the epitome of spring perfection. Look at that. It is creamy and it's gorgeous every single time. Add your handful of spinach. You can add the spinach while you have everything on, but the problem is that as it sits even for just a few minutes, the spinach will overcook, and I just want the spinach to be wilted. I don't necessarily want it to be cooked to death, but the heat will just do it perfectly. And then from here, as that spinach is wilting, you're gonna add your fresh mint. You're gonna add a little grated lemon zest. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic on any holiday table, but really any table whatsoever. See, that spinach is perfectly wilted in there. There you go. And now we serve. My nonna would say that risotto should be eaten with a fork. And my nonna and my nonno, not wrong. Look at those gorgeous green vegetables. Nothing is overcooked. It's pretty perfect if you ask me. And I do need a little bit of parm on top. And I'm gonna also grate a little black pepper because I can. And now we just get a fork, because what I just say? What did I just say? You just need to make this. You just need to make this. The mint, the lemon, the vegetables, the risotto is just perfectly cooked. Look how beautifully green these vegetables are, okay? They're not overly cooked into mush. They're perfect. Look at the rice. You see how it's just creamy and delicious? That is what you are looking for. Not too liquidy, but certainly not stiff. It's just heaven. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.